Hi, welcome to the TESOL 2013 recast of Green Screen Video Technology Makes Content-Based Curriculum Come Alive. My name is Scott Duarte.
And I'm Julie Lopez.
And we are going to do a reshoot of our video because for those of you who weren't able to see our presentation at TESOL, or maybe just want to review some of the things that we talked about there. So let's just go into a quick biography of both of us. I've been doing student-generated multimedia for about 8 years now, since 2006. Is that 8 years? I can't do math. 7 years. And so it's mostly been just video in itself, not green screen. The green screen I've been using on and off since 2008, but I've been really putting it to use in the past 3-4 months now. I've worked with students in Japan on multimedia, in the Middle East, and in the United States.
And I've been probably incorporating videos into my classroom since 2002, 2003, but it's been a hobby that I just like to share with the students, so that's why I got into it. And the use of green screen is probably in the last 2 years when I started thinking of ways to use that in the classroom. And then more recently it's become so easy to use it and relatively inexpensive, and so we've been trying to think of more ways to incorporate it in little chunks in our classroom. In terms of videos, I've done videos over in Vietnam when I taught there, and then a lot of projects here in the U.S. at the University of Delaware.
Alright, so before we get into why and how to use it, let's talk about what is green screen. Now, most of us are familiar with green screen with our local weather forecast on the news. And so we always see the weatherman or woman standing in front of the map and showing us the cool fronts coming in or the 7-day forecast. They're not really standing in front of those graphics. They're standing in front of a green or blue screen. And then the images are superimposed behind them. Also with movies like Star Wars, George Lucas films his actors in a huge blue or green room, and then all the backgrounds, the foreground, everything that you can see in the camera is painted in using green screen.
But you don't have to be a big studio like that to use it. It's actually become very affordable and easy to use, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this presentation, is you can do it. But why should you? The question is not just because you can, you should, but really what are the reasons for teaching, what are the teaching benefits? The first one is, I think student motivation can't be overlooked, that we are teaching digital natives. They know how to use electronics, they're used to watching movies, they know how to use computers really well, they like cameras, like video cameras, so they're into that technology, and it's fairly easy for them to figure out even if they haven't done it before. So it's motivating to them because they like technology. The other reason it's motivating is because it's fun to see yourself in an environment that maybe you never dreamed you would go to, or that you certainly aren't in right now. And when you are replacing the image in the background, you can go anywhere you want, which is what Scott's going to talk about in a minute. So it's really fun for the students to see themselves after they edit it in this new environment. And so they're excited about working on the project and making it look good because they're in it. They're the stars. So it can be very motivating to want to do well and use good English and practice the English for this project.
Alright, also it's very cost efficient. We're going to look at really quickly what you need to buy when you're doing any kind of student-generated videos in class. But you need to have a budget. And a lot of times that budget runs dry just with the equipment. So when you have the equipment, but you have no money to actually go out and film in various locations, or you don't have the ability to go out and film in various locations because of insurance constraints, departmental policy constraints, green screen allows you to leave the classroom, leave everything, and venture into different environments from the ease of your own classroom. And so we're going to look at that pretty soon. Also, why use green screen? Well, okay, so going into the different environments. If your school is in the country and you want to film as if they were in the city, you can do that very easily. If your school is located in the city, but you need to go out on a farm to film, you can do that. You can take your students to the desert. You can take them to the beach, all from the ease of your classroom.
Excuse me, I think I'm lost. Can you tell me where is the Hermit Trail?
Yes, sure, that's no problem. Well, we are here at Monument Creek Vista, and you need to go about 2 miles. And here is the Pima Point.
Oh, okay, right there? Where? Yeah, here, exactly. And follow the road around the bend, go another mile, you'll see the road will end at Hermit Trailhead.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, not only can you take them on different locations, but you can also change the different shooting conditions. So let's say if you need to film at nighttime, but your class is at 8 a.m., that's not a problem. If you need snow, but it's a summer session, you can work with that. If you need summer, but you're filming in the winter, you can do that. You can even take them to imaginary worlds. As long as you can find an image or video that someone's created, you can put that, you can plant that into the background for your students to be in front of. Also, for why to use green screen, it's a lot safer. Now, sometimes our students drive us crazy and we want to throw them off buildings, or we want to shove them in front of rampaging bulls running through the streets of Pamplona, but we're not allowed to do that. So instead, we can use green screen and put them in that environment so that they can safely film whatever scene that they're doing without any danger actually coming to them.
And you won't get arrested like I was in Vietnam because we shot in front of a tourist attraction and the police did not like that so much. So this is a better way to go.
Hey, how's it going? Do you know a good cafe around here?
Sorry, I'm kind of busy right now.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking that all of this running making me thirsty. If you know a good place, I'll buy you a soda.
Well, in that case, I know the perfect spot. We need to just run down this road for about 200 meters, take a left at the traffic lights, then follow this road until we hit a T intersection. Then we'll turn left again. The cafe is between a bakery and a butcher shop.
What about the bulls?
The ones at the butcher shop?
No, the one behind us.
So another reason why it's great to use green screen in language classes is it really reinforces the vocabulary with visuals and their doing and their acting. So the way it reinforces vocabulary through visuals is they can choose the visuals. If you don't, they can go online and pick pictures or find videos that they want in the background. They have to be able to do the searches in English, where you can encourage them to do that in English to describe what kinds of scenes they want to create. So there's vocabulary there. When they're doing a dialogue or whatever they're presenting on, it's going to be in that context more than them standing in front of a whiteboard at the front of the classroom. So you can see it. They're seeing the environment as they're hearing the language, which is reinforcing the language function better than just role playing in front of the classroom. Also, if the video turns out well, or even if it turns out really silly, they're likely gonna think it's funny and they're gonna want to share it with their friends. So they're gonna send it around, and other students will also be hearing their English. They'll be able to talk more about it. They're probably more likely to want to reshoot to get the English correct if they know there's a larger audience. So you have the reinforcing of vocabulary by doing multiple takes. And that's the nice thing about videos, is that you can say, okay, that didn't work out, let's try it again. But when you have the students give a presentation in front of the class or even do a role play, most of the time they get one chance and then they're done. And the green screen or videos allows you to correct errors. So the teacher can become a language coach. And if something isn't said right, you can stop and correct it. So the English can be more accurate in the video than it can be in other types of class performances or presentations.
All right, so what kind of equipment do you need? Well, as I was saying, with any kind of video projects that you're doing, you need cameras. And so you can spend as much or as little as you want. You can use your standard video cameras. We've used at the ELI the Kodak just point and shoot one-touch cameras, work fine. And you can even use your just regular picture camera. A lot of those come with video components so that they can record video. But if you have anything, whatever kind of camera you have, I would best suggest using a tripod and trying to get a camera that has an audio jack, because the microphones on the cameras themselves usually are not that good. So it's always good to have an outside microphone that can plug into the camera and record the audio that way.
And those don't have to be expensive either. You can look online for good prices.
But the most important thing with green screen
is the green screen.
Exactly.
And I know when I was first looking for a green screen a couple of years ago, I decided on a big sheet of muslin, is that how they say? Muslin cloth, and it was very large. Comes anywhere from $4 to $10 per yard. My very large piece of material cost me $100, including the frame setup. So that's really not breaking your budget to get that and the frame. But they have other options that they've created since then, which Scott's going to tell you about.
One of the easiest ways is a pop-up. And they did this with reflectors. Now they have it for a green screen. So on one side it's green, the other side is blue, whichever one you want to use. For a 5x7, it's around $60. You can find that online. But also, for a larger one, $100 for 8x16. This pop-up one is nice because it also has a little train on the bottom so that students can actually stand on it. And when you import that film into iMovie or whatever software you're using, then the atmosphere, the environment, totally surrounds the student in it. And the nice thing about these pop-ups is that if you don't have a lot of room in your class, when you're finished shooting with them, you can pop them back down, and they go into usually around a 2-foot circle with a case, and then you can store that in your closet so that it keeps it safe from students playing with it, walking on it accidentally, tearing the material, and so you only pull it out when you need it. And so I think that is one of the best reasons for this type of green screen in the background. The last type is the cheapest, most economical, is going to Michael's or your local craft shop and just getting green poster board. And you want to find as lime green, as neon green as possible. And it runs 89 cents, 99 cents for 22 by 28. Now, just one poster board is not going to be enough. I had, in my classroom, I covered my wall from about 9 by 12. So it was, I don't know, around 24, 25 poster boards all taped together, which ran me around $25. And so it's the cheapest and most economical, but if you take it down, it tends to get trashed easily.
And the other thing is, some people have said, do we have to buy green? And if you're using one of the free or inexpensive programs we're going to talk about, yes, it does need to be either green or blue, because that's the only color that the program will recognize. And the reason they choose those colors, well, this lime green, is because it doesn't match our skin tones, so you won't disappear or look ghost-like when that color is taken out, and that's the reason why it has to be green.
So here's a brief example of students shooting in front of the green screen and then taking the green out and putting the background in front of it.
Most days, all I want to do is crawl up in a bed, sleep and never wake up. But that's not reality. If you sleep, you die. There are many people in the streets who want to hurt me, so I need to stay awake to survive. 500 energy gives you the boost you need to never sleep. One bottle and you'll stay awake for over 20 days. So take 500 energy, and those mutants hunting you, those zombies trying to bite you, those militaries trying to shoot you, and that ex-girlfriend still looking for the special mix CD are all just a distant nightmare.
Okay, other necessary equipment that you need once you've done the shooting is a computer to edit it on. And so there's two ways to go. There's the Mac way and then there's the PC way, and both are equally adequate. If you're using Apple products, then if you've bought an Apple computer since 2009, it will come with iMovie on it, and iMovie 09 and iMovie 11 both come with the green screen effect built into the software, so that software is free with those computers.
Right. But if you're not a PC person, if you're not a Mac person, there are PC options as well, and you can tell which Scott prefers with that picture. I was doing some research online just to see how cheap could you get a program, and the one with the best reviews and also for the lowest price was Power Director. The one on the screen is Power Director Deluxe. That has a lot of other programs included. If you are looking to really save money, you could just purchase Power Director Ultra, and that just has the video editing software in it, which does include green screen. If you want other software programs to edit pictures and audio, then you can get like the Deluxe. And the Ultra would cost, I think, $55 for that program. So it really is not that expensive to add to a PC.
The only bad thing about Windows is that Movie Maker, which is a fine piece of software to use when editing films and relatively simple and easy for the students to use, does not include a green screen effect on it. So that's why you do have to go outside of Windows to buy something else.
Yeah.
But also, a lot of those programs do come with a 30-day trial so that you can see which one works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Another piece of well, this isn't really software, but an internet site that I recently discovered and have thought is really helpful and useful is videoblocks.com. This is not a free site, but you can see there are 7 days of free downloads for you to try out and just explore everything they have. This site also doesn't restrict you if you just want to look at all of the content they have. You can do that for free. It just costs money to actually download it. But you do get 7 days of free downloads, and each day you can download up to 20 different clips. This site has audio clips, so that includes sound effects, background music. It has video clips from all over the world, so if you don't have pictures or videos from other sites, you can find it online. And it also has After Effects projects, which is more complicated, you don't need to get into. But the other two might be worth it. And I wrote an email to them and asked them if I could use it for class projects, and someone responded from VideoBlocks and said yes, and this is all royalty free, so you don't have to worry about copyright infringement. This is part of the deal. It's rather expensive if you join right away. I think it's $79 per month to use this site, and I wasn't willing to pay that, so I turned it down after I got my 7 days of free downloads. But then they kept sending me offers of better and better deals until they had it down to, I think it was $99 a year. So I finally went with that because I thought, yeah, I probably will use this site enough to justify $99 a year. So just to be aware if you're looking at VideoBlocks as an option. There are a lot of other free video sites out there that you can use. You can spend hours looking on YouTube for appropriate videos, and that's one of the reasons I chose VideoBlocks, is it cut down on my time of trying to find good quality videos. A student of mine wanted to add special effects and found this site called Vidiot's Channel, and it has green screen projects like animated snow and rain and lightning and violent things if they're into that. But this site is not always user friendly with the downloads, but all of their content is on YouTube. So if you have a program that downloads from YouTube, like keepvid.com is what I use, there are a lot of other good people, YouTube users out there who create green screen projects. They say, please, this is free, you can download it and use it. I really like one of the users. He's called Best of Green Screen. He's got really nice work, and you can use all of that if you're able to download from YouTube.
And that's one of the things for reasons of using VideoBlocks over YouTube. You need to be careful. A lot of the YouTube clips will say, please download it and use it, and that's fine, but a lot of people don't want it downloaded, so you might run into something like that.
You have copyright and fair use issues to think about, so that's why VideoBlocks is hassle-free in that regard. So here's a clip of how a project my students made, just exploring what does fall in America look like, and they used a lot of green screen and extra effects in their video.
Fall is the season
when the leaves fall down on the ground.
Fall is the season for
eating
food.
Yay!
Pumpkin!
Turkey!
Mushroom! Fall is the season when it rains.
Alright, so we've talked about why to use green screen and what it is and how to basically create it. So let's look at how to incorporate it into your curriculum.
One way is if you are teaching in more academic-based class, you can include it in the content. So one project I had my students do was to compare the Amish culture, and we live in Delaware, so we're fairly close to Amish country up in Lancaster. And a lot of the Saudis were very curious about the Amish because there are some similarities between them. So we made a video looking at the differences and the similarities between Amish culture and Saudi culture. And we were able to have the students look like they were in Saudi Arabia by choosing pictures from their hometowns or places they would hang out. Like the women chose pictures of the mall because that's where they like to be. The men chose it out in the desert, so they can choose what aspects of their country they want to be in, and then they came in all dressed up in their traditional dress, which they brought with them to make it look more authentic. Another way we use green screen in this video is to just isolate and focus on the students. So I just replaced the green background with black, or you could do white or any color you want to just highlight the person in focus. And this removes any distractions for the viewer, and it also just looks a little bit more professional when you can have a clean background. So here's what we created, or just a snippet of what we created.
We are the Amish. You know us as the people who don't drive cars, who favor long beards and wide-brimmed hats, and enjoy barn raising.
We are the Saudis. You may know us as the people who don't eat pork, who favor headscarves and wear hijab, and enjoy racing SUVs in the desert.
I am Hadil, I'm from Riyadh.
Hello, my name is Abdullah Sami. I'm from Riyadh.
How are the Amish and the Saudis similar in the way they dress?
I think both of them are conservative. For example, the men in both culture wear long clothes and they cover their heads. Like Saudi Arabia, we wear shmagh or ghatra, and here they wear the hats.
The next project that we're going to see is I used green screen for a history-based class that I taught at Michigan State University, and so I was teaching them content of U.S. history in the 19th century, and so for their final project, they had to act like they went back in time and interviewed someone from each decade. And so they found clips on YouTube, old newsreel clips from each decade, and then they put themselves in front of it and acted like one person was a reporter and the other person was actually living at that time, experiencing everything that the people in the clip experienced. And so here's a clip of that.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Happy to see you again at the News of Lifetime.
Have you ever thought the citizens' opinion about 5 events that affect the history of America? We will start with the life during 1920s.
Was the prohibition a good idea? Did that improve the economy? Did that increase problem or decrease them?
Hello, my name is Terry. Today is 1922, January the 1st. I'm in a dancing party now. As you can see, there are many people at the back. They are dancing, they're drinking, smoking. They look really happy. Hi, my name is Terry. I'm a journalist of Lifetime News. May I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
May I have your name, please?
My name is Mari.
Okay, Miss Mary.
All right, so another classroom application is to create better presentations. Now, all of us have had our students give presentations, whether they're PowerPoint or just standing in front of class, and they get up there, they're not very excited, they drone on in a monotone, and it's painful for us teachers as well as for the other students who are watching this. So I try to think of a way to soup up their presentations and do something more news-oriented, something that, like the images that are usually behind the anchorman, or to put them more into the action of it. So here is a brief example of a student giving a report on Kurt Cobain. When you're ready.
I'm ready. Kurt Cobain, the son of mechanic and waitress, was born in 1967 in Washington. He started singing when he was 2, the song of Beatles, Hey Jude. When he was 14, his uncle asked him for his birthday to buy a used bicycle or a used guitar. As you guess, Kurt Cobain chose the old guitar. Kurt Cobain was influenced by many bands such as Sex Pistols, the Beatles, and many English rock bands. Touching. He was heroin addicted, marijuana addicted, alcohol addicted, and many things more. When he was 2,
He got his first guitar when he was 14 from his uncle, and he played a lot during high school. He worked hard, and he found new groundbreaking music style. He found new band formation, and he did many things. Because of that, he is genius.
Okay, so another way you can use the green screen is for role plays, and I know probably everyone has probably thought about just doing a role play in front of the class, but it's always more interesting to see it actually on location. So you can create a whole role play and film it in one class period and then edit it, all the pieces together later, with the ease of being able to stop the students and coach them on how to be more dramatic or how to say something better instead of just letting them go through it all at one time. So I think the final product can be better than maybe just letting them go all at once. And for this next project, I actually had my film class work with our drama class to film them redoing Little Red Riding Hood. So you can see how we chose backgrounds. Some of them were just pictures online, and some of them I just went out and filmed locations in the forest around us. But I could decide by the pre-planning process exactly what pictures we wanted and how that might look. So here's just the first part of Little Red Riding Hood.
Mommy, I want to visit my grandma.
Oh, sweet. That's a good idea. You haven't seen her for a long time. You can wear this. Very nice to you. Also, take this way.
What's that?
This is
Pancakes.
simple, yeah. It's good for your grandmother.
Okay.
Okay. Remember, go straight to your grandma's house. Don't dawdle along the way. Don't talk any strangers. The woods are dangerous.
Don't worry, Mommy. I'll be
Okay.
careful. Oh, such lovely flowers. Oh, wonderful.
Hey girl, what are you doing here?
I'm on my way to Grandma. She lives in the forest. But oh, I'm not.
Who is there?
Hello, Grandma. I'm Little Riding Hood.
Oh, come in, come in. It has been a long time since I last saw you. Ugh.
Another class that I've taught here at ELI is a news class. So you could just have your students prepare and give news reports to the class every week, but I wanted to expand the audience because when students have a larger audience, they're more likely to prepare more because they want to look good. They don't want to look bad in front of their peers, or even if it's online. And so we actually created weekly newscasts, which was a lot of work. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it every week. And then shared it with our institute, and some of our other teachers would share our newscasts at the beginning of class each week to kind of tell them what's going on. So it really increased the amount of exposure our students' project got. So the advantage of doing newscasts with the green screen is not just the weather. We actually didn't do anything talking about the weather because I had a higher level class. But we can make the set, the studio that they're in, look more professional. And this is where I use video blocks, as they have really nice news sets. They also have background tracks for news shows that you can add to it. And also you can have reporters out reporting on location. They're not actually, they're in the classroom, but you can have them travel over to India, like you'll see, and report on current events. Or you can have them talk about statistics on a graph and a chart right behind them blown up, and they're right there with the chart pointing things out. So here are just a few clips of how we use green screen in a news class.
Hello ELI, this is ELI News 5 Cast, news for ELI students by ELI students. We are broadcasting news for week 5 for session 1 from downtown Newark, Delaware.
NHK World News reported on September 10th, thousands of people camped at the beach in India to protest the nuclear power plant.
We can see how the US won the most medals in the 2000 Olympics. Let's look at why UD college students think exercise is beneficial.
I think it's beneficial for people to exercise because it keeps everyone at a healthy weight.
Alright, so we've talked about how we can use green screen for our students, but what about using it for ourselves or for our department? So here we're going to look at different uses for teacher training or other things.
And this is a new area that I'm exploring right now, of creating a video library for a lot of the new teachers, and also our MA TESOL program here is to show them how experienced teachers both think about teaching the students and also to show them what goes on in the classroom. So this one I created using the green screen to give the video a more professional feel, and also just to isolate the teacher talking so that there wasn't a distracting background. So I filmed her in front of the green screen and then replaced it with gray or whatever she was talking about. If she had examples of writing or even of her rubric, you can see that while still watching her, which I think is more interesting than just watching a screencast like this, where you see a static screen and you just hear voices talking about it. You'd probably much rather see Scott and I, dancing around on the screen in front of there, although you don't get to. We could have done that.
So you're saying we should have done this on green screen?
Yeah, that would have been cool. So you can just liven up these screencasts or any type of teacher training video to have more visuals while still seeing the presenter. And here's just one video that I created for that purpose.
I really insist that students do neat work and that they keep things organized. And I think that's important also. I know when my desk gets messy, and it will, you just don't think as well. You can't find things, and you're just disorganized, and things just aren't going well. And I think a lot of times nobody's ever told them how to organize their work or what the expectations are. And so I try to do that right up front. So for example, in reading writing class, we have journals, and the kind of notebook that they need to have for their journal is not up to them. And also to keep it neat, so that's all in a bound notebook. I use the kind of notebooks that are sewn, so they can't be ripping out pages and things like that. All their work will stay together in the same place. I also think it's important to teach students about formatting, just a simple piece of homework, where to put your name, where to put the date, that you should have margins, that you should give everything some kind of title, so that you know what it is in the future. And then it's not okay to do sloppy work. You need to be doing something that you're proud of. And I think it has ramifications in the future if you don't.
All right, so another way teachers can use it is to create their own materials for the classroom. A lot of times we want to use audio clips or video clips in the classroom, but we can't find that perfect one that goes over the grammar point that we need to cover, or that is really a good model for a role play. And so you as a teacher can use your own green screen and get other students or get other colleagues to help you create your own materials. If you're in a multi-level institute like we are here, you can have the higher level students create materials that you can use in the lower level classrooms. For example, the asking for directions. We had my level 6 students do that, but it is a video that could be shown in a level 1 classroom where the students have rudimentary English skills, and that's what they're learning. So there's a lot of different uses that you can use for green screen in creating your own materials.
So again, we want to emphasize that if you overuse the green screen and you have it out every day, it's going to get old and it's not going to have the same benefits as if you pull it out maybe once or twice during the semester or a session. So choose how you use the green screen, for a purpose that will really enhance the language purpose of that activity, and not just because it's cool and it has neat effects that you can use. So I think, our message is use it with a purpose in mind, but don't be afraid to use it because it's probably easier than you think.
Exactly. It is just another tool that we can pull out to make the students' learning better, but it is not the end-all be-all, and you don't have to use the technology to have your students learn. But it is a fun activity, a fun project that students really do enjoy when you use it correctly.
Yep.
So thank you for listening again, or listening for the first time. If you do have any questions, please feel free to email me at duarte@udel.edu or julie@udel.edu. Good luck with any future project. Please let us know how it turns out so we can steal your ideas.
Since we just let you steal ours. No, I'm just kidding.
And have fun with it.
Yep. Have fun. Take care.
Bye.